All right, let's do some of our favorites, word problems. So we have to determine in these word problems whether they're a geometric or arithmetic sequence or series and then solve them. Now, if we're going to do these problems, we have to remember the formula for the nth term. So I'm going to make a note on the top of this page. If we are doing geometric, the nth term, so a sub n, remember is a sub 1 times r to the n minus 1. But then arithmetic, a sub n is a sub 1 plus d times n minus 1. So we're using those throughout this. So let's take a look at the first problem. A ball was dropped from a height of 36 meters, and on each bounce it rises to about 7/8 of its previous height. How high does the ball rise on its fifth bounce? Okay, so if it's 7/8 of its previous one each time, that is geometric. Okay, our common ratio is that 7/8. 36 is our first term. And what else do we know? We're trying to find the fifth bounce, so my term is 5. Okay, so if I'm trying to find the fifth bounce, I'm finding a sub 5. Because it's geometric, I'm using this one. So a sub 1 is 36. My r is 7/8. And minus 1 up here, so 5 minus 1. So now I'm just going to type that in my calculator. And I got 21.1, and my unit is meters. So on the fifth bounce, the ball only rises 21.1 meters. And that's how you do word problems. Let's do another one. Okay, you put 50 cents into an empty piggy bank. 1 week later, you put in 75 cents. At the end of the next week, you put in $1, and so on. What kind of sequence do the individual deposits form? So because it increases by 25 cents each time, that's arithmetic. And I'll go ahead and make a note that D is 25 cents. Okay. At the end of the 76 weeks, how many deposits have you made? Okay, so this problem is kind of tricky word-wise because a sub 1 is 50 cents. And then a sub 2 is 75 cents. But this one is the 1 week later. So the term number is one more than the number of weeks, because this is technically like week 0, like a week hadn't passed yet. So at the end of 76 weeks, you're actually on 77 deposits. Crazy, right? I know. Okay, now that we've figured that out, what amount do you deposit at the end of the 76th week? So remember, we're technically finding the 77th term. So this is arithmetic, so I'm coming back to this formula. So my a sub 1 is that 50 cents. Plus D is 25 cents, and then n minus 1, so 77 minus 1. Type it in my calculator. My unit is money, so I'm going to use a dollar sign, and I got 1950. So on the 77th term, at the end of the 76th week, you're putting 1950 into the bank. Now the next question is, what's the total amount of money you've deposited by the end of the 76th week? Because this is just the amount we're putting in on that specific day. So if I want to find the total sum from week 0 to week 77, so the first term to the 77th term, I'm going to do my arithmetic formula, but I'm going to leave the n because that's what I'm plugging in each time. So I'll do 50, the first term that we started with. Then 25 is the common difference. I'm going to put x minus 1. So this is simply x equals 1 right here. Type this in. You have deposited $770. Cool. Okay, let's do another one. Calvin and Phoebe, let's see what they're doing. They start walking at the same time from the same place in the same direction. Wow, twins. Phoebe starts with a 12-inch step and increases her step half an inch each step. She goes 21 steps and then stops. Okay, Phoebe stops. But Calvin starts with a 36-inch step, and each subsequent step is 90% as long as the preceding one. So his steps are getting smaller, Phoebe's steps are getting larger, but Calvin started a lot bigger, and he's not stopping. He's gonna keep going forever. Okay, Phoebe's steps follow what kind of sequence? Let me go back and read. She increases her step half an inch each time. So she's adding half an inch each time. That's arithmetic. Let's make some other notes here about Phoebe. If she's increasing half an inch, that means D is 1/2. A sub 1, her first step is 12 inches, and she's going 21 steps. I'm gonna write N as 21 for now. Okay, let's talk about Calvin. Calvin's steps are 90% as long. So when you're doing a percentage, you're gonna have to multiply to each step, so that is geometric. So R is 90%, so 0.9. His first step is 36 inches, and then it says he doesn't stop. So I'm gonna say N is infinity for him. Because if his steps are getting smaller and smaller, eventually they're gonna be so small that he's not even moving. But technically, he is, because the number is just so small. Okay, we get it. Okay, how long is Phoebe's last step? So her last step is her 21st step. So I'm finding A sub 21. So I'm gonna use that arithmetic formula there. My first step is 12 plus D is 1/2 and minus 1. Type that in your calculator. That is 22. Her unit is inches. So Phoebe's last step is 22 inches. After each has taken 21 steps, who's ahead? Okay, so I need to find the total length after 21 steps. So I'm gonna do that summation. So let's do one for Phoebe and one for Calvin. Okay, so Phoebe, from her first step to her 21st step, hers is an arithmetic sequence. So I'm gonna use the arithmetic formula. So basically what I did here, but just subbing an X right there. Okay, Calvin, I'm gonna do the same thing, 21 steps, but his is a geometric formula. So A sub 1 is 36, R is 0.9, X minus 1 is in the power. So I'm gonna type each of those in my calculator. Phoebe is 357, Calvin is 320.6. So who's ahead? Phoebe. Good job, Phoebe. So even though Calvin's steps were bigger, Phoebe got further ahead because of math. Okay, last question here. If Calvin keeps walking in the same manner, will he ever get to where Phoebe stopped? So will he ever reach 357? So I'm gonna do an infinite sum. Okay. So 36, 0.9, X minus 1. But remember, we can't really type this in our calculator, so I'm gonna use that formula. So 36 over 1 minus 0.9. So the total length that Calvin's gonna go is 360. So will he ever reach where Phoebe is? Yes, sister. Okay, the next section is